Welcome to another episode with Kyla and
Teresa.
Thank you for tuning in to Zillennial Talks. We are so glad to have you here with us again. If you have not checked out our first 2 episodes, they are on all our social media platforms. Please be sure to go check us out so that you can get to know a little bit more about us. And also, we speak on mental health. Today, we're going to speak about dating in this generation and what that looks like for us.
Yeah, there's a lot to say about that.
There really is.
Actually,
I feel like dating has changed over the years.
Yeah,
definitely.
Do you think? Because at first I was like, I don't have a question, but I do have a question. Do you think that dating back in the day used to be more romantic?
I do.
Than it is now.
I do.
And like, why?
Ooh.
Because I also think the same too.
You know, I think that honestly, if we talk about the later generations, I feel like they may say things have changed, but also things were kind of similar in a way because they were living in that time and they had those experiences. But I don't know, like if I'm thinking about it, the way they used to like create and make movies to look like the 90s men, how they
child
the Lorenz
Fresh
Tate,
Prince,
the
Fresh Princes of the Blairs, the Bill, not the Bill Cosby.
Girl,
I mean, what's it called?
But like
different world.
Tate,
you ever watch A Different World?
Yes.
Different World.
Those.
What's the college one? That they're all in college. You know what I'm talking
about? I was gonna say Different World again.
No, it has Denise Huxtable, and she goes off to college.
No, I know that's not Different World. I think that's A Different World.
Is it A Different World? I thought it was something else.
Are you talking about?
Isn't A Different World it's a spin-off of that show? It was like not Spellman.
No, it was the Cosby Show, and then it went into the Different World.
Okay, I'm tripping, guys.
Denise went to college.
She went to college.
Yeah, and it's a different.
But then they left her, and then they started doing whatever else. Guys, if y'all haven't watched those TV shows, like
Martin,
ignore the modern drama, right? But it's giving 90s realness.
And like what they televised then was like a more calmer, more like natural feel when it came to the romantic side, whereas now it's kind of like you said, it's just drama. You're seeing women argue with men argue with women, and the problem's never fixed. It's always just like a problem after a problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like honestly, from what we saw on TV, because that's actually a good point. Like we've only heard it from our parents, and then like what we've seen on television is that the guys, they just came with like a different like energy.
They had like a different morale about themselves.
I don't know how to explain it. Like back in the night when I'm watching those shows, I'm like, ooh, God, if a man stepped like that today, like no offense, nobody, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, it's just different. The way that men are stepping nowadays is completely different.
Completely different, yeah.
But there is still guys that I feel like, and it's weird because people would probably consider this like old school, that do kind of have like an old school traditional approach, and those are the guys that stand out in my opinion. Like when they stick to their roots, stick to the tradition, stick to like old school ways of like speaking to a woman, and I just mean like bottom line being respectful and a gentleman.
Of course,
because a lot of people think that being a gentleman should be an add-on when it should just be base,
should just be something that you do,
base requirement.
Natural,
like a base requirement to be a gentleman.
Absolutely.
Another thing that I think that used to do back in the day is like, I mean, they had phones in the 90s, but I'm trying to think.
But it wasn't as like
now, right?
Like now, yeah, of course not. I mean,
so you had to go out of your way to see somebody.
Yes,
like
you had to make the
up.
effort, to see them. Whereas like nowadays, you could just hop in someone's DM and say, "Hey,
what's up?
You look beautiful."
Exactly.
Or, you know what I mean? So it's different. It's like that's the effort. They feel like, oh, that's all the effort I have to put in by hopping in her DM or something. Whereas, like you said, back in the day, you had to make the effort and show up and go and be there.
Yeah, because like I feel like that raises another point where it's like the accessibility of a woman is different, and a man, vice versa.
That's very true.
Just like you said, you can hop on social media, you see somebody that you like. If you want to shoot your shot, you shoot your shot. Whereas back in the day, it's like maybe you saw this girl in the courtyard or whatever, and you have to like find a way to approach her and like maybe see her again. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And vice versa, the man. If you have a crush on a dude, you see him, you're like, oh my God, like I saw this guy last week at this corner, at this street. And then like back in the day, they would have to find a way to like recreate a scenario where they could bump into their crush. Whereas now it's kind of like
everything is so like
Instagram.
Right, exactly. Everything is so just quick, like
very
right there in your face, like
and
there.
You know, being that way though, like it's just like all these downsides, and we're not trying to talk bad about modern generation. Obviously we're part of that modern generation, but it's like with the whole instant gratification culture, I feel like that plays into dating in the sense of like if people are not instantly satisfied, they're already looking for something else.
Right.
So being able to, a lot of women even find it hard to get into a relationship.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it's like you're trying to figure out if this guy's good, you're trying to talk to them and see what else is going on, but like they got bored with you and they're already on to the next and you didn't even know.
No, seriously.
So that happens a lot.
That's so serious. And then just like think about it, like the dynamic of that, just how that plays a role in so much of why the dating in this generation today just kind of like falls apart.
Yeah, I think so. And statistically, they're saying that this generation is getting married the least as well.
I mean, but think about it. Like but like a lot of women have that I'm independent and they don't need a man.
Yeah.
So a lot of women are not even wanting to be married nor have children.
Right.
But it's also based off like what we're seeing when it comes to the men.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not saying all men are like this, or not saying all men are not, leading, but for the most part, women are already doing the jobs that men are supposed to, you know what I mean?
Right. Like we have the ability to occupy those workspaces is basically what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that's what's also been like a major change and why it's very low for us to be getting married in this generation.
I think people are just afraid of that, and which is also toxic, obviously. Like the ideology that women have to overcorrect. I feel like their independence. Like you can be an independent, strong, beautiful woman that makes your own money, but you can still desire to be in a relationship, let alone a marriage. But what I was gonna say was I think that we just suffer from major commitment issues as well.
That's true.
Like there's levels to it, right? There might be a woman who can commit to dating someone, but the moment that it starts getting serious, she bails, you know? Vice versa. Same thing with a man. So there's levels to commitment issues, but I think that this generation has major commitment issues because they're scared. Yep. Because, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of reasons why. I think that divorce rates are higher. So the generation before us, divorce was skyrocketing, right? So we're seeing this as the adolescents growing into the young adults, going into the workforce. And now it's our turn to be the next generation of marriages and kids and whatnot. And we're just like, well, a whole bunch of y'all divorced, so I'm not gonna make that mistake. I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna figure it out. If it doesn't serve me, I'm out. Like we've talked about this before.
We have.
And it plays into the commitment issues.
No, for sure. I've talked to a lot of people who are extremely scared of commitment. It's so crazy. Like you will be with a person, you'll talk to a person, you may even date a person, depending on how you define dating. But like there's a lot of people who won't make that commitment to be like, I want to be with you, I want you to be my girl, I want you to be my man, I want us to work towards something and build something. Because once that commitment is made, there's all these different like expectations that we hold
for sure
towards one another that people are like,
I don't want no parts
I don't want no parts of that. Which is why I feel like a lot of people are afraid of that commitment and they're not ready to make that commitment.
That's actually a good point. Commitment does rise expectations, right? So if you look at this person like, listen, like once we make this commitment, your expectation is gonna go up, and they're not ready for that, then that kind of it's a kind of indicator like if you guys are on the same page. But not only like with the marriage thing, there's a lot of people that don't even believe in monogamous relationships anymore. We've talked about this between ourselves, but we've watched this poly couple that is on live on TikTok. Not trying to promote the relationship, but I think that if some of you guys are on that side of TikTok, y'all know who we're talking about. It's this like black dude with this biracial woman,
Sean, Olivia,
and Shanice. There we go. Sean, Olivia, and Shanice. Hot Mess Express. All right, from what I understood, because I did a dive, I deep dived.
Yeah.
What I understand is Shanice is the older woman.
29.
She's so beautiful. Oh, she's 29?
Yeah.
She's gorgeous.
She is.
She is in the military, so she was away on active duty. Shanice and Sean were originally the original couple. She went away, and then this big-headed boy decided to get somebody else in the picture because he's a polygamist. And so he brought along this girl who was 18 at the time, I think she's like 19 or 20 right now. And her name is Olivia, and they were dating, and Olivia was not aware. She actually said this multiple times, that he was in another relationship. She didn't know initially.
Okay, well, see, that's one part, whereas I heard that she was aware, and she met Shanice at the time that she came, the second time she came back around. And so she knew. But the thing was, Olivia was in a relationship with another dude at the time.
And Sean wasn't okay with that.
Sean says he didn't know.
We
don't know.
It's just a mess.
It's a cycle of just messiness. You can just tell mess, lies.
It's just crazy. And
you can just tell it's for entertainment.
Confused. Yeah, I think so,
really
right?
Just for entertainment. You can just literally tell it's for entertainment.
Right, for sure. And I think it is too, because I'm like, y'all are collecting your checks.
Yeah, for sure.
Y'all are growing your fan base. You found a way to make people like, but regardless of what they're doing, if it's true or not, there is people that do live their lives like that.
Yeah.
Where the man can have multiple partners, but the girls cannot, or vice versa. And that's what's considered a poly relationship. Whereas I don't know where the other terminologies are, guys. I'm getting confused myself.
Yeah,
there is people that like they're allowed to date multiple people. Like their partner can date other people and vice versa. It's just confusing.
Whereas like for him, he actually says he wants 7 wives, so he's adding to their relationship.
My whole thing about men that want multiple women in their lives, it's like, can you even afford one wife?
And think about it. Think about it on a deeper level as well. Like, not only can you afford, but can you afford to have that big family and also have that quality time when you have those children, because that's what children are going to be looking for. Right. They're going to be looking for that quality time. They want you to like be there, be present. And so think about it. You have 7 wives, and depending on how many children each wife has, you're not going to be able to be there for each child at that time.
Literally, you can't.
And time. So it's like,
to add to that, it's like, literally, when I think about it, economically, it wouldn't make any sense. Honestly speaking, my whole thought process is, if you want to sleep around, just do if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Just be real about it. But having multiple wives, to me, really blows my mind, because I'm like, in this economy.
And first off, how can you even handle?
How do you do that? How do you do that?
7 wives.
Literally. You want 7 wives. Wow. Okay, Sean.
How?
Okay,
different
Sean.
Personalities. I mean, when it comes to women, it's like a lot of times women cannot live together in the first place. That's because true. Jealousy, envy, and jealousy. I got you. Envy, jealousy. Thank you. You know, and it's hard for a woman to accept that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I just feel like if you're gonna be in a relationship like that, even though I don't even know how that happens, but make sure that the woman accept it, and like you guys have a common ground,
that you guys understand what you're going into.
Exactly. Yeah. But don't bring women in
without knowing,
and then they also don't agree to what you guys have going on, because it's like, it's just gonna build so much friction.
It's manipulation is what that is. You're allowing someone to develop feelings for you, and then you're pulling the wool from underneath their feet, and you're like, listen, this is the reality. If you want to stay with me, you're going to adhere to this. And that's, for me, that's really wrong for people to do that. But once again, this is a product of this generation. I mean, I know polygamy has been around for ages, but you put this in the forefront. So yeah, like mono relationships are really, really, like, I mean, it's not like it's scarce, but you know, the freedom and the fluidity that people want to have with the sexual liberation movement, they're like, date whoever you want, date however many people you want, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Which adds to this generation of difficulty to actually find somebody that you want to be in a monogamous relationship with.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like it really sucks. Yeah, it really sucks. Because it makes it harder for people who want to be in a monogamy relationship. You know, and just to see you think about it. You think about the social media influencers who are on social media. They're a couple. They're showing their lives. Next thing you know, they break up, and people are devastated.
Heartbroken.
Like, what just happened?
Yeah, heartbroken. Literally.
I thought you guys had like the best life ever. Right. I thought your relationship was going good, but again, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, so we can only assume. You know what I mean? But I think that also when people are, especially the younger generation, when they're looking so deep and they're diving so deep into these couples who show their lives on social media and then they break up, I think it also like creates this like barrier between like teaching kids. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Like the reality.
The reality that relationships, I mean, of course, may or may not work. Yeah. But like,
and they're also not perfect.
Exactly. But it's just like, if you, yeah. Like, it's, what I'm trying to say is just like, I feel like it's become to a point where it is very scary to want to be in a relationship. Yeah. Like, yes, I have no problem with committing to someone, but it's scary because you just never know. People's feelings change. People change how they feel about you. People treat you a certain way. And it's like, man, do I have to sit here and tolerate this, or should I walk away? And then it's like, if you don't walk away, you're going to be judged. If you stay, you're going to be judged. It's like all these things, it's repeated cycles that just like cause us to be like, it causes us to have these commitment issues, and then it's just like it's just a cycle.
It's a never-ending cycle. That's why it's kind of like you kind of have to learn how to block the noise. Yes. Honestly speaking, regarding whatever you want. But once you enter a relationship, social media can be pretty toxic. We've talked about this many times on our channel, on our podcast. For those of you guys that are just listening to us. Social media can be very toxic to anything, any stage of life, whether it's relationships, whether it's careers, whether it's your just hobbies, whatever you're doing. If you find you're going to find somebody on social media that does it better, that looks like they're having a better time, that looks like they're living their life better than you, and they're the same exact age, demographic, whatever. And that's why it's like, you just have to find the good in whatever you got going on for yourself and believe in what you got going on for yourself. Yeah. And honestly, like, okay, this is another question that just popped into my head. What advice, if you have any, what advice would you give to any women that are struggling, you know, to even like find somebody that will commit to them? Do you think it's a them problem? Like if they're putting themselves out there and they feel like no matter what they do, they're not getting any type of like, commitment back? Or do you think, like, what do you think about things like that?
I think it depends on the person first.
Okay.
But also, I feel like as a woman, you shouldn't have to go out and like search and seek. Like, the person who is for you will show up, if that makes sense. Okay. Like, I don't think that we have to put ourselves out there so much to where we're like looking for that attention.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I feel like it will come. It's okay to like, of course, like just step out and like, you
look
know,
cute.
Of course, be cute, be who you are, always be yourself. Yeah. Because there's gonna be someone out there who's gonna accept you for you, you know. But I don't think that we have to like just make ourselves known to be seen, because people can actually read you if you're like out there trying to like put yourself out there. A lot of men, they know who you are before you even speak half the time.
True.
Like,
because they observe they do their background,
they do all of that.
They vet.
So I just feel like, you know, because honestly, if you are out there and you're seeking and you're looking, sometimes somebody might look like somebody might approach you. He'll come off so great because you're looking for someone. You're looking for this person. So if a man automatically comes up to you and he's being sweet, he's talking to you with, you know, the utmost respect, he's complimenting you, you're going to feel somewhere. You're going to feel like, oh my God, this is the guy for me. And then months later when he starts treating you bad, it's like, so it's like you automatically have to put your mind in this state of just like, what's for me is going to be for me.
Right. So you shouldn't have to put yourself out there is basically what you're saying.
No, I don't. Okay. I don't think that's just my point, opinion.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just, if anything, just be yourself, be who you are, you know, and who's for you will come, you know.
Right.
And that's just how I believe, honestly.
Personally, like, personally, what I was gonna say was, at this particular age, I have friends in like all facets of life. So I have friends that are super single. I have friends that, you know, are in serious relationships, and I have friends that are engaged, and I have friends that are married, and I even have friends that have like, you know, like their family. They've started their family and stuff like that. So when I say that, it's like, it's hard for me to even like say when a friend comes up to me with a concern about their dating life, I go back and forth, like, we're so young, it's okay, but then I know that the pressure of society, probably the pressure of family too,
absolutely,
probably your own self-pressure is on you.
Mm-hmm.
So ideally, yes, do we want the man to come to us?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
But is that always the reality? No.
Of course not.
No, it's not.
I'm not even saying like never approach don't approach a man. Like
because some men like it when a woman approaches them.
They do. But
and this is my thing. Let me say this real quick because I know you have something to say to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a very traditional woman myself, all right? I have never been the type to approach a man, all right? But, you know, you can always give signals that you're interested. You know, bat the eyelashes, you know, play with the hair.
With the hair.
Give them eye contact.
Look.
Exactly. Whatever you got to do to kind of get their attention. But I will say that I have asked my brothers, my friends, just people around me that I know that are men, like, if they would appreciate a woman actually walking, thank you, girl. Yeah. Actually going up to them. And they say yes.
Yeah,
because it displays confidence and it displays like, okay, this girl knows exactly what she wants, and then from there they can take over the reins.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah,
I've done that once.
Oh, okay, period.
But I don't know if I'll do it again. Yeah. Yep. One time was enough for me. So that's all.
You know, but honestly speaking, I've heard it go both ways too.
Yeah.
I've heard people like do that, girls, and it's like, oh, they went on to be in a relationship and then that man ended up being nothing. So I've heard both sides.
Yeah. It's very like tricky.
It is.
Like I don't think anything's wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I don't think it's anything wrong with it. Me personally, I just like to be approached. I like for
same. I do too. But I will say that
show their hand and you know.
And I think you're basically saying the same thing. For advice for women that I feel like, or men that I feel like they can't get any play, I would say definitely put yourself out there in the sense of like put yourself in an environment where you can attract somebody that you could be. So for example, if you believe in God, I wouldn't say just go to church to find somebody, but join those small groups, get involved in your church because you can meet a lot of people that way. Be social, be more social if possible. Maybe go out with your coworkers, not to like get with a coworker, but meet other people. That's what I'm saying, like social networking. And for women too, the same thing. Like just put yourself out there, be yourself, of course.
100%.
But rejection is okay. It's a part of life. It doesn't mean that you're worth any less. And then every rejection is pushing you closer to the yes, is what I feel.
And how do you see? But I like that you said that because when you think about it now, how do you feel about today, the generation, when women are rejecting men and men are retaliating in such a aggressive way?
I will say this. I think it's twofold. I think it's twofold. I want to put this disclaimer out there. I do not believe in domestic violence or any type of violence, even like verbal. Like I don't believe in any of that. Like there's no reason for that at all. But I will say that there is some women that are really mean and intentionally so. And I feel like they go out of the way to actually embarrass men and they'll put them on the spot and maybe they'll take a small encounter that's really actually very polite, very gentleman-like. They're just showing interest in you and blows it out of proportion to the point where it traumatizes the guy. And you're like, why are you acting that way? You know? But on the opposite side, where there is women that are very nice, that are very kind, and they're just trying to go about their business and they don't want you, and a man gets aggressive with them, it's terrifying. Men who do that, please stop. Yes, please. And women, the best thing that you can do in those situations is remain calm and have a backup plan, whether that is mace, whether that's a taser.
Always have something with you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because people are crazy, and it's crazy that you even mentioned that, because there's so many occasions where if I feel like I'm too closed off in the sense of like I find myself in a position where I'm with a stranger and I feel like I'm kind of like far from people where something could happen, I'm terrified. My heart is beating fast. Like I'm thinking, if this man decides that he just wants to pick me up or just hit me, he could do it. Because like men are scary sometimes. They really can be.
And women too.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It goes both ways too. I don't want the men to feel like we're just like, you know.
There's that bodybuilder on Netflix that her name was like Molly's. I forgot her name.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She will be putting work on men. Like she, like obviously she was a bodybuilder, but she had like a long history of domestic violence, and like people didn't really believe that she was putting her hands on these men because they were also big in bodybuilders too, but she was putting in work. Her husband ended up dead.
Oh, I didn't even watch that, honestly, but I didn't even know that about her.
Not to ruin that for y'all, but
oh yeah, sorry,
it's crazy.
But no, like, and another thing too, when it comes about it, like, I noticed that a lot of time it's women who get most of the attention when it comes to these topics, but I want men to know also that you guys are heard as well.
Yes.
And that, you know, if you're going through something like that, like, choose you, like, you know what I mean?
And
like,
also don't feel like it's like a punk thing to like tell somebody what you're going through.
Yeah, but I just feel like men don't have like that safe space like women do, and which is why they go through things that they probably will never say out loud. Just for the simple fact that space has never been open for them. You know what I mean? And so, like, I want you guys to know that you guys are also heard as well.
Yeah.
And you matter just as well.
You're important too. Yeah.
For
like
sure.
Domestic violence, any type of abuse, any type of thing that can make you feel uncomfortable, no matter your gender, it's not okay. And you should never be treated or put in a situation that makes you feel uncomfortable, because I know a lot of men who are sexually harassed. Yeah. A lot. We can talk about our experiences as women, but there's a lot of men who get touched and with no consent. And because it's a woman, people are like, oh no, she just thinks you're attractive. No, she put her hands on somebody that they did not consent for them to do that. So that is harassment. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
Yeah, man, we care about you guys too.
We really do. But I think that's just gonna
end our
episode for today. Thank you so much again for tuning in to Zillennial Talks with Kyla and
Teresa.
Please be sure to go look at all our social media platforms. Also, watch our first and second episode. We post every Saturday at 7.
Yes, ma'am.
7 p.m. Are we Central Standard?
Central.
We are Central.
Central time.
And then be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms. Also, our personal social media. Mine is on Instagram, Kyla M _ KIELA M _ and then TikTok is Kyla Inspires. And then Teresa?
Mine is Teresa La Lumiere on Instagram, and on TikTok is Teresa9196.
Alrighty then. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Bye.